I think I must be dumb. There's no other explanation. I genuinely do not understand the controversy over Sonic the Hedgehog movie. It is absolutely bewildering. So, out of nowhere, this movie comes. No one asked for it, no one wanted it, but here it is. There's a trailer, Sonic the Hedgehog movie. A lot of people are upset with it, and they're saying the Hedgehog doesn't look anything like Sonic. And the director goes like, you know what? I think you're right. We're going to change it. So they change it. People go see the movie, and now everyone is freaking out. Like, what? Am I the only one who just doesn't understand any of this? Like, does this even make sense? And let's talk about Jim Carrey here. On one hand, he is a self-proclaimed socialist, which is the ideology that killed millions in my country and oppressed millions more, is the ideology that wants the state to own the means of production, which would mean thousands of actors being fired because the state doesn't need to release so many movies. Like, how many good movies do you remember being released from within the Iron Curtain, from within the USSR? Because I lived under the Iron Curtain. I can't remember a single good movie that was like, yeah, the Soviet Union owning the means of production released this film and it's excellent. I don't remember that. So to me, it's a little bizarre that an actor is also a socialist. But all that aside, I want to talk about his hypocrisy. The moment the director decided to change the design of Sonic the Hedgehog, he complains. And he pussyfoots around the issue, saying that he doesn't know how he feels about the audience being in on the creation of what is happening. He compares this to a Frankenstein monster, and he's going to wait to see what it entails, because sometimes you find that the collective consciousness decided one something, and then when it get it, it says, okay, just wanted it, I didn't care about it, I just jumped on the bandwagon. Maybe he's talking about his social justice friends that have pushed for Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey. Maybe those are the people he is talking about. But now that he noticed that this is a major success and the redesign was successful, he says that the redesign made the film so much better, and it turned out to be a great thing because everyone co-op and everyone was in on the creation and everyone felt good, and that there are people who grew up with Sonic and it's important for them that they get it right, and the movie is so much better because of it. Why wasn't this his initial opinion? One has to wonder. Why wasn't he coming out from the gate and saying, yeah, you know what, I fully support the director decision? Why was he pussyfooting around this? I'll tell you why. Because people like Jim Carrey like to play it safe. They like to just go with the flow. Wherever the perceived public opinion is at, that's where he is going to go. And I really dislike these types of people, and I think it's important to call them out. And again, Jim Carrey, wonderful actor. He managed to make my childhood great through really popular movies, but when it comes to him as a person, I think he's a hypocrite, and he does something that I really can't forgive any celebrity for doing it. And there's so many celebrities that do this, and they need to be called out. They managed to get famous by making politically incorrect jokes. So in the case of Jim Carrey, looking at Ace Ventura, there is a transphobic joke at the end of the movie, and his character is also homophobic. Now, I don't have a problem with this because it's just on television, it doesn't hurt anyone, and it's very funny. Ace Ventura is also funny today. But he is the type of person that manages to climb the ladder of political incorrectness and be edgy and make humor that makes everyone laugh. And once he is at the top, he pushes the ladder away so that other people can't climb. These are the type of people that I really despise. I don't think there is any explanation. I don't think you can say, oh, it's a learning curve. Oh, I didn't know then. Oh, I learned it. No, like this is what really upsets me when it comes to comedy. Being edgy, like South Park, or like The Simpsons used to be, or like Beavis and Butthead, or like Jackass. The more edgy you are, the bigger group of people you're going to have. There is a drought right now. There is a starvation on the consumers for edgy content, because there isn't any. You're not going to find the type of humor that existed in the 90s. You're just not. So anyone that comes up now and does edgy content is going to have millions of people flocking in and wanting to hear that person make jokes. However, The moment you make edgy content, you're going to have the woke wankers coming up to you and saying that you are being politically incorrect, and they're going to try to deplatform you. They're going to try to get you off social media. They're going to try to convince other companies to stop doing business with you. They're going to try to get your account shut down. And what happens is that the same people who are doing this, the woke people that are doing this, some of them, which are successful, used to be successful because they also made political jokes that were incorrect back in the day. So they climbed the ladder, they managed to reach a comfortable position, and now they're pushing away the ladder for other comedians. And I can never forgive someone that in the past has made politically incorrect jokes and now is condemning other people who do this. So I don't care how they explain it, I don't care how they justify it. You either accept that making politically and edgy jokes is fine and it's just humor and it's not hurting anyone, it's a victimless crime, or you believe that it causes victims and then you should step down. You should step down. You shouldn't be in that position. Why would you want to be in a position as you climbed over the bodies of the oppressed? Horrible, right? So to me, there is no in between. Now, with that said, I didn't want to go see the Sonic the Hedgehog movie simply because I disagree with Jim Carrey's politics. And this is something that I personally judge myself. You know, I don't accept other people to do it, but just how there are leftist activists who refuse to eat Chick-fil-A because of the politics of the CEO, regardless if the sandwiches are good, so too I refuse to consume some media because of the politics of someone that's higher there. I don't encourage other people to do this, but I personally, that's how I feel. However, in this particular instance, because the director decided to listen to the fans, and I was one of the people that was mocking the way Sonic the Hedgehog looked, I said, you know what, I'm going to go see it. Because, well, they changed it for me. And I felt, you know, a little bit of a duty, a moral requirement to go see it. And I went on release day. It was, I believe in my country, it was Saturday at 11:50 a.m. And it was even dubbed in Romanian, if you could imagine. Like what I subjected myself to. So here I go with my girlfriend to the mall, wanting to go see it, and all of the tickets were sold out. And I was like, what on this never happens. Alright, like this never happens. All the tickets were sold out. I couldn't find a place in the cinema. So I'm waiting for Google to send me its AdSense money so I can then take my girlfriend again and see it and hopefully get a haircut. But I guess it's a successful movie. And I like the take from Forbes. It's like Hollywood needs to listen to gamers. Like, if you're taking an IP from gamers, doesn't matter what, you know, like why would you do that? Why would you look at a game and take that IP if not to convince the people that like the IP to see your movie? I thought this makes sense. Like why would Forbes have to write such an article? It's ridiculous. But we live in a world where people take an IP, like for example Harley Quinn or the Ghostbusters or whatever, and then they have a reimagining, a reinvention. It's like if you have the reimagining, why not create a different IP? Why not just make something else? You know, women fighting ghosts. Spooky ghosts versus women. You know, like a crazy chick with a mallet. Why do you have to go and take something that already exists, that people already have expectations from, and then subvert the expectations? Subverting expectation is a synonym for disappointment, right? You have people that have money. And I don't care if you think they're misogynists, bigots, or whatever. They have money in their pockets, and you want that money. And the people are going on the internet and explaining to you what you need to do in order to take their money. And you're going to be like, oh, no, I'm not going to listen to them. And then you end up not making money. What? I mean, I think a kindergarten person can understand it. Like, if I go to a kindergarten and, you know, tell the teacher that her car is on fire so she can run out of the classroom and I take her place, and explain it to those kids, look, this is what happens, all right? Like, A, B, and C, they're going to understand it because it's not rocket science. But it seems that all of these producers, all of these Hollywood directors just want to listen to the mainstream media. And I just do not understand why, because they are so detached from the consumer base at this point. Like, how can you make such a title? Even Jim Carrey's genius can't save the Sonic movie disaster. And the Sonic movie Disaster tells to be one of the highest ratings, no, the highest ratings game IP movie of all time. So a disaster means making money, you idiots. Make more movies that end up being a disaster. And this is not the only exception. Joker, for example. And the same mainstream media that was praising Ghostbusters, that was praising Birds of Prey, that was praising all these movies that ended up flopping, are the ones that the Hollywood directors are getting wisdom from. And my question is, like, what exactly does it make a critic a critic? Like why is the person here, in this case Thomas Bradwell, more enlightened in criticizing the Sonic movie than you are, or anyone else for that matter? Did he go to a certain school where he learned the intricacies of criticizing movies? It's like, why seriously, like, what makes him so great? Because I understand back in the old day when you didn't have the internet and you just had like paper, there were like people that the paper hired in order to review movies, so that you, who don't have so much money and you couldn't see trailers and you couldn't talk with other people outside of your limited social circle, could get an information about that movie. So yeah, they were like free advertisement if you got like a good review from the critic. But nowadays, you get to see the trailer of the movie online, you get to scroll down to the comment section and see what thousands of other people think. You can go to websites like Metacritic and you can see what people who went to the movie have to say about that movie. You can talk with hundreds of other people that you know online. You can go to forums. You have so much information that I generally do not see the purpose of the professional movie critic. I literally don't, especially knowing that some of these movie critics, like I exposed, have time and time again bent the knee to the corporations. They would say, oh yes, I saw that movie and I wanted to complain about X, Y, and Z, but I know that if I complain, I'm not going to be invited to other screenings. Like, you need to understand their loyalty is not with the consumer. Their loyalty is with the advertisers. And advertisers give them more money based on how much clicks they get. So if they're the first to write a review about a movie before everyone else could see it, then they're going to try to maintain that position of privilege and not upset the company that invites them for that early review. And then they're going to avoid talking negative about certain movies. This is why they're always excited about movies. This is why they're always like, when's the last time you saw critics genuinely disappointed about the Disney movie or something like that? Very rarely that it happens. And if it does happen, it might be like some publication that no one heard about it. This is why I personally trust YouTubers more. YouTubers don't get invited to early screenings. YouTubers are upheld to their own community. Most of these journalistic outlets don't even have comment section or forums, and if they do, they heavily moderate them. So I'm more willing to trust someone like Angry Joe about his opinion of a movie. I don't take it as gospel, or, the Critical Drinker or Mahler or these people. And I at least, I get what they're saying, and I can form my own opinion and regarding with what I also saw in the trailer and what the people in their comments are saying. I get a much more informed opinion by doing that than by going to one of these professional critics from The Guardian or the BBC or whatever. And at the end of the day, it's word of mouth that really gets to sell. You can call people incels, you can shame the consumer, you can say all of the bad things that you want about them, but word of mouth is gold. If a movie is good, people are going to go see it. If a movie is bad, the chairs are going to be empty. And by the way, the way the people and the actors act matters, whether you like it or not. If an actress comes out and insults the consumers, most of them will wonder, like, well, why should I give her my hard-earned money then? I can just wait for the movie and rent it or whatever. Or sell the 7 Cs and get it that way. So it does matter, believe it or not. And you know what's funny? Like, they keep saying that men didn't go watch Birds of Prey and blah, blah, blah. You know what's funny? Apparently, men were the biggest demographic that went and saw Birds of Prey. So it's not men that didn't go see Birds of Prey. It's women.